In 2019, I went to go visit my friend Tyler in New Jersey. And we had a pretty good time. We spent about a week dicking around New Jersey and New York. And we got along pretty well, but there was one argument that kept cropping up, and it was my phone usage. You see, I had just gotten my iPhone 11, and I was still trying to figure out how to do like Google Photos backup and all that stuff. So I'm just walking around New York, taking pictures and then trying to back them up and save them in full quality and bounce through all my settings. And Tyler just like got fed up with it. At one point, he's just like,
"Get off your fucking phone."
Now, Tyler has an iPhone 6, not a 6S, just a 6, which at the time to me was blasphemy. A 6?
But what about the battery life, the camera, and the wired headphones?
And you know, funny enough, now down the line, about 3 years later, I wish I was him. Something I've learned over the last few years is that it's very easy to become addicted to technology, and it's very hard to get out of it. I've always been the tech guy in my circle. I've always got the cool gadgets and the latest and greatest, and I keep up with the tech leaks, and I'm tech support for family and teachers and friends. And getting to this point was very easy. I like my MacBook. Maybe I should try an iPhone. Oh, this iPhone is pretty cool. Maybe I should grab an iPad. Man, the Apple Watch is on sale. AirPods, AirPods, AirPods. I started this year with an iPhone, a MacBook, an iPad, an Apple Watch, AirPods, because I'm not broke and don't you forget it, an iMac, and a PC. Oh, and a bunch of smart home devices, a couple Google speakers, some smart lights, etc. And all of them suck. They are all garbage. My smart lights disconnect from my Google Home at least once a month. Safari stopped letting me upload files to Google services. Can't upload videos, thumbnails, nothing. One time I went for a run, and my Apple Watch wouldn't play my offline music without a connection to the internet. I mean, come on! Tech is supposed to make our lives easier. Inventions are supposed to solve problems. And I feel like we've reached an inflection point where, at least in my life, everything is getting significantly worse. So today I'm going to complain about it like a boomer, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to fix it.
You can't even cry for help. No one can save you.
Before we get started, I can already hear the comments.
Dude, nothing is perfect, man.
And you're right, nothing is perfect. But these big shot tech companies expect it to be, and support reflects that. Back in the day, there was a point in time where if you had an issue with a product from a company, you could call that company and get it resolved, or at least get some help. And then, things got really big and there were a lot more people, and it didn't make sense to accept like every phone call, So then there was email support. You could contact support, they could sort it out through email, and if it didn't work through email, we could get you up to a phone call. Then we had the genius idea of creating forums, right? Everyone has a forum, everyone has a help forum. If you've got a problem, you go to the forum. And then if the forum couldn't help you, there was a little contact form at the bottom. And then if email couldn't help you, you could be directed to a phone call. And this was the way it worked for a while. It worked pretty good, I think. Then we made the biggest technological leap in history. We got rid of all that shit. Now there's just a forum. Go fuck yourself. Back in February at my old job, I was cleaning up their social profiles. And they had a bunch of Facebook accounts because they would forget the password and make a new one and all this stuff. And so one of the accounts I'm cleaning up, it's BAM Liquidation, but it's a personal profile. And I make some like kind of simple, tiny change, like a profile photo, or I capitalize the name or something, and the whole thing locked down. Facebook said, hey, we detected some weird activity. You have to submit an ID. Like a state ID, a driver's license, to prove that you are BAM Liquidation. And you can see where my problem is. Kid you not, I spent about 4 days scouring the web. Every forum they had, Reddit, YouTube comments, Twitter, asking people. Facebook has no support. They have gone through and systematically removed every single way of getting actual support through their system. And of course, the forum does not cover this specific issue. There's a little feedback box at the bottom, like, hey, did this help you? And if not, please put feedback. And they even explicitly say, you will not get a reply though. And Facebook isn't the only one either. When my Twitter got suspended about 3 years ago, I submitted appeal after appeal after appeal, like daily. And I just got rejected and rejected and rejected by the same machine every time. I only got it back because I fell into contact with somebody who knew the person in charge of Twitter security. And they said, hey, can you put this guy back? Fixed immediately. without an issue. And like I mentioned earlier, just this week, Safari stopped working for every Google site. I can't upload things to Google Photos, I can't upload YouTube videos, every upload just fails immediately with files. And I've had this update of Safari for like a month now, not a problem. It just started 2 days ago. So I contact Google, I get them on the phone. It's one of the few companies you can actually do anymore. On Drive, it was throwing up a little error 38. People have been having issues with that for years, apparently. There's no place to find out what error codes mean. They wouldn't even tell me what the error code meant when I was on the phone with support. All they told me was to download Chrome. Come on. No, you can't bully me into downloading your stupid malware browser because you want to break stuff and not fix it. I could go on forever with these examples. Like, yes, things are not perfect. Things break, I understand that. My issue is that Silicon Valley thinks that they're perfect. If your problem's not in the forum, then it's user error. It's your fault. Which is very clearly not the case. Shit is breaking left and right. It's their responsibility and they're not fixing it. And it is the most hopeless feeling in the world. Like right now, my YouTube account is actually fucked up. If I go to my channel page and I go look at my videos, I cannot see any of my uploads from the last 9 months up until 3 weeks ago. Uploads missing. They're in the studio. If I'm logged out, I can see them, but I cannot view them myself. It is across the app, Apple TV, the website, every browser I use, and like nothing's getting done to fix it. I'm getting an email like once a week. Hey, we're still looking into it. Like, how do you not have this fixed? This is your site. This seems like it should be a very basic issue. There's people left and right who get their Google accounts just erased. It happened to a friend of mine. Some weird thing happens, right? And like, you get locked out or you get an email that says you violated some kind of Google term, your account gets minked, you didn't do anything, gone. Every day you're worried about your bank account app breaking or your entire Google account with all your emails and your photos just disappearing and nobody doing anything about it. It's hopeless, man. It's terrifying. Okay, so if there's some catastrophic issue and something's wrong, we're fucked. Whatever. Why don't you just use the app or the device like you're supposed to without meddling with it, even though that is human nature. Let's say that, right? Wrong. Because at this point, you can't even go a full day without tiny little infuriating bugs everywhere. Since I got my Google Home in like 2017, for instance, it has gotten consistently worse. I used to be able to ask it questions. I used to be able to talk to it, tell it to play music. None of that shit works anymore, dog. And this is like a brand new one too. I have the newest one, the Nest Mini.
All right, this is the second time I'm asking this. Hey Google, play Baby One More Time.
Got it. Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Playing on Spotify.
And then it just doesn't. Play Broken by Jack Johnson.
Broken by Jack Johnson. Sure. Playing on Spotify.
I used to be able to ask it questions. Half the time it just tells me, sorry, I don't know anymore. And my smart home stuff never connects to it. Every single thing has a point in the month where it disconnects and I have to go back in through the app, or maybe it'll work in the app, but then the voice won't work, or it won't work in the app, but voice will control it. And all of these do it on different days. So if you have a bunch of smart home stuff, you're gonna be troubleshooting it like weekly. And it's like GE and Philips and stuff, like the highest end brands. You spend like hundreds of dollars on this stuff and it just doesn't work. And it's not my internet. I've got AT&T, I've got fiber, I've got gigabit, I've got all the stupid, 86 tera shits per megafart, and it still doesn't work. I originally got my Apple Watch because I wanted to run with empty pockets, and the ability to have like AirPods in my ears and my watch with all my music and nothing else was so freeing. And a couple times it worked, but you know what? About 50% of the time, it didn't. One time I went for a run, and my watch wouldn't play the offline music I downloaded that afternoon without like an internet connection. And then it wouldn't connect to any of the internet that I was nearby. Another time I walk out and I put in my AirPods and they just don't connect to the watch. And I have to go all the way back to the house, put them in the case and take them out, and then they work, just for no reason. And this would happen the most often. This happened about 50% of the time. At the gym, at my house. You know what never failed me on a run? An iPod Shuffle clipped to my shirt. Also that Apple Watch, was a Series 5 by the way, brand new, would have issues where like it wouldn't dismiss notifications automatically when I put my wrist back down. Just like random, and it would require me to restart the whole watch to fix it. So I'd be at work and I'd get a text and it would stay on full brightness, by the way, because it does have a little auto brightness feature that you can't control. it would brighten itself up and then just basically melt the battery and then be dead by the end of my work shift. Apple made us use this stupid fucking Face ID shit for what, like 5 years now? And it never works. I'm in the sun, I've got glasses. If I'm not in my room with like exactly, you know, a 50%, 1200 lumen, completely color neutral bulb on my face, it doesn't recognize who the fuck I am. And then mask mandates started, remember that? And Apple waited an entire year to make a feature where your Apple Watch could unlock your phone when you're wearing a mask after all the mask mandates went away. And then that didn't even work half the time. And my new MacBook Pro, I love it. It's great. It's fast. The battery life is amazing. And you know, it's Apple Silicon. It's a whole new technology. And that's going to come with some growing pains. I understand that. But there's some shit in here that just should not be broken the way it is, or for how long. Like AirDrop has been broken since Big Sur. It's been over 2 years. And it's still like, when you go to AirDrop a thing and you go click on the thing, half the time, the window just shifts up in the top left of your screen. And you can't move it. You have to like find the clicking point, which is also like the hitboxes are off. Windows, you motherfucker, you're not out of the park either. Sometimes my microphone just shoots up to full volume, because by default it sits at 50. It'll either go up to 100 completely without notice, for no reason, and deafen everybody I'm in a Discord call with, or it'll go down to 0. Just moving itself back and forth. No explanation. And sometimes my files just don't load. I have one of those stupid M.2 NVMe SSDs with like 10, 20 gigabit per second read speeds, and it can't load like my desktop. Like, I'll just load right in. This is a fresh install of Windows too, by the way. Like, I haven't done anything with this computer. All I do is play games and stream. And I'll like go to my videos folder and I'll click into a subfolder and then go back, and I'll have to wait over 2 minutes for it to load the files that were just there. I have so many weird little bugs with my Windows machine that even though it has a 3070 and it kicks any laptop's ass, I don't want to touch it. Microsoft. I could go on and on about this. Yes, every device has issues, but when every device has issues, you get very tired of it. It's exhausting. It's driving me nuts, and my life is worse for it. When I had just an iPod, didn't have any of those issues. When I had just a phone and a laptop, didn't have as many issues. The more tech I've introduced into my life, the more tiny little irritations that should be fixed and aren't. And everyone's like, oh, are you submitting feedback? Yes, I submit more feedback than anyone else. I've submitted so much feedback before that I've been asked to stop. And social media is a completely different animal. I'm currently trying to break a serious addiction to constantly just doom scrolling. My Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, whatever feed I can get my hands on. And every one of those nice relaxing days where I can catch a break and actually sit on my bed or read a book or go outside is amazing. I don't know how to describe it. It's orgasmic. And I think a big aspect of it is the constant barrage of junk going into all of our brains 24/7. There's a new war. Oh my gosh, a new war. And Amber Heard and Johnny Depp are back at it again. Day 500 of this stupid fucking court case. Look at this group of underrepresented people that's getting completely fucked by their government across the world. And if you don't post an infographic on Instagram about dead children, do you really care about the gun crisis? Like, how does anyone live like this, dude? What, am I supposed to be responsible now for the world's problems on top of my own? And on top of that, like, we're addicted to these apps. We're constantly checking them. They're making them feel worse. And they don't even work like we want them to. Because, again, Silicon Valley thinks that they're God. They are so self-righteous that they just add and take away features regardless of what the community using the app has to say. Like, you think the CEO of Twitter is on Twitter all day? No, Lexi probably knows a lot more about how the app should work than the chief technology officer, you know, who uses Twitter like once a day to tweet about a new feature they stole from another platform. I mean, how many times have you seen this situation, right? New update comes out, either a new feature shows up or a feature everybody likes goes away, and you just see nothing but dissent from the community and all the comments and the replies and posts, you know, with tons of retweets and support, people making videos about it, and the platform is like, oh, they're wrong. It's not that users don't like this feature. They just don't know that they like it yet. And if we force them to use it, our numbers will go up and we can consider that a success in the record books. I mean, YouTube is like the perfect example of forcing users into a feature, right? I mean, look at all the stupid shit they do. Removing the dislike, YouTube Shorts, which I'm trying to embrace, but I really feel like it has ruined the entire paradigm. By the way, Shorts videos aren't new, okay? We've got Shorts from 10, 15 years ago, because in order to get their numbers up, YouTube retroactively converted every vertical, even some square videos, ones that didn't even really fit the format, to a short, so that way, on launch week, they can say, oh my God, there's already 1 million shorts, what the heck? Like, do you remember that time that somebody like complained about the dislike thing and actually had some pretty valid arguments, and YouTube replied to them with, big sigh? That like opened my mind. That tweet was the one where I finally realized like, oh, it's not incompetence. They're doing this on purpose because you don't know what's good for you. You don't know what you want. They know what you want. They know what's good for you. You're an idiot. You're a little moron. And streaming sucks too, especially music streaming. Spotify is one of the worst platforms on the planet Earth. And it's not because it's like a low quality platform, right? Or like the app doesn't work. Just because the company is so goddamn bad. This is gonna get a little brand suicide-y, okay, for the longtime fans, so that'll make you guys happy. These fuckers change the app every other week and add something that nobody asked for. Did you know Spotify had a TikTok feed for a little bit? I got it. They tested it on me, and I sent them like a paragraph about it, saying it was the stupidest shit ever. It was right next to the search bar, shifted everything over to the right, and it was a TikTok feed of snippets of podcasts you weren't following. Meanwhile, people have been begging them for AirPlay 2 support, to make blends work, to make the Apple Watch app work. You know, they finally put out an Apple Watch app like earlier this year. It was in like March, after years of saying they were gonna do it. What happened was they announced in like January that it was coming, right? Everyone got excited. A bunch of people defected over to Spotify, didn't show up for like 3 or 4 months. And your music just goes missing all the time. I don't know if Taylor Swift is back on, but I remember that was a big controversy for a while. Taylor Swift wasn't on Spotify. And then now Neil Young left Spotify because he doesn't like Joe Rogan. They're so concerned with podcasts and all this extra shit that nobody asked for that they're not investing in like the actual community of people that got Spotify to listen to music. Music artists are leaving. That is like antithetical to the entire purpose of Spotify. But no, Joe Rogan, episode 469. And it's crazy the dick sucking that I can already see in the comments if this video gets like any traction.
Obviously, people are using it, so it can't be that bad.
No, that's the thing, right? There is no such thing as answering with your wallet anymore. There is nowhere else to go. How many big music streaming services are there that you can think of off the top of your head, right? Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Pandora? How many phone platforms are there? iPhone, Android. People are using this stuff because there's nowhere else to go, not because we choose to. I hate this. If I could grab the iOS platform from 2012 and separate it from the current iOS platform, you know, and keep the servers up to date and all the apps, I would use that like exclusively.
Oh, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They don't owe you anything.
No, you're wrong. They owe me, they owe us everything. They do not exist without us purchasing their products. They do not exist without our ad information to sell. It's crazy that as Americans, there's people out there that don't think that will worship whatever decision these companies make, even if it hurts them. Like the Nintendo community is like the best example of that.
If you don't like it, then just don't use it.
Yes. I don't want to use this stuff anymore. So I've been moving away from it. I got rid of my Apple Watch. My iPad is now in the closet. And I swapped my iPhone 11 for a 13 mini, which is a smaller phone with a smaller screen and less battery life, and kind of an effort to encourage myself to use it less. All the social apps are off of it, except for YouTube and Snapchat, because I watch a lot of videos and I also keep up with people through those platforms. But everything else is gone. I've got ad blocks on Twitter and Facebook. Like, I'm just trying to stay away from it, man. To keep in the spirit of this video, I actually wrote the entire script on this iBook right here. That's kind of fun. And then I took it a step further. I decided to give an iPod a try. You guys remember iPods? Remember back before everybody used Spotify and Not before streaming services, actually. Something really interesting that I learned while I was working with all the vintage computer stuff from the last video was that streaming services were actually a thing before iTunes.
We say, well, what about Press Play and Rhapsody? What about these things? Well, they're both subscription services. You can't just go get a song and pay a little. You have to subscribe to them. And we think subscriptions are the wrong path.
And then Apple came along and introduced iTunes, and then the iTunes Store, which was an attempt to try and get around piracy because the streaming services were just that bad. So they introduced the store, and for the first time, people could buy songs and actually own the songs in the high quality on their machine. One of the big arguments that Steve made for the iTunes Store was people don't want to rent their music. People want to own their music.
We think people want to buy their music on the internet by buying downloads, just like they bought LPs, just like they bought cassettes, just like they bought CDs.
I guess we're cool with renting things out again and financing everything, and we don't own anything anymore, man. So I went out and I bought this first generation iPod. This is the one from 2001. It's a 5 gigabyte model, but I'm thinking of putting more storage inside of it. This is probably a little overkill. You don't have to go this far back. You know, you could get a good 4th gen for a lot cheaper because it's not a collector's item and pop a flash card in there, get more storage, more reliable storage, bigger batteries. Apple killed the iPod, so I wanted to go back to the very beginning. And I have to say, this has been the most pleasurable listening experience I've had in a very long time. I legit have not touched Spotify in like 3 weeks. My friends got me some CDs. I ripped them all to iTunes. I went and bought some songs on the iTunes Store. I have about 700, 800 songs on this thing. And I have just been jamming, bro. There is something so nice about, you know, these actual physical buttons and clicking through these menus and spinning this actual physical wheel that turns to go up and down and grabbing a song and this big old meaty button in the middle here, just clicking right on it. It's an experience that we just don't have with software. You can't replicate this with software. There's just something so holistic about sitting down, plugging this little guy into iTunes, syncing your music over to it, waiting a couple minutes, actually going and making playlists on your computer. There's cool stuff back then, man. And we're moving so fast with tech, we just glazed over it. And now we don't have that anymore. And it's a lot of fun to use. And your music won't just randomly disappear. It won't just gray out. Oh, not available, sorry. I can play on this thing Electric Avenue, which is one of my favorite songs. It's by Eddie Grant. And it's just never been on Spotify ever. But the best part about this is that it is distraction-free. I can plug this guy in, throw on my headphones, run outside and do some yard work, do my laundry, do stuff around the house. I can leave my phone in my room, and nobody can get through to me on this. No one can hop on my Spotify and start playing a song and interrupt my music. Nobody can give me a call or bypass my do not disturb or send me a text, like a fucking Snapchat that's like loud as fuck in my ear, and then twice because they were typing. It doesn't use up space on my phone, because I'm not storing music offline, because this is the music player. I can go walk across campus without my music disconnecting halfway through and me having to wait for it to come back up. It just plays. And I know you've heard the right to repair argument just get beaten to the ground at this point, so I'm not going to dig into it. But if this thing breaks down, I don't go without my music. I can pop this open with like a fucking spudger. I don't have to wait and schedule an Apple appointment. And of course, there's nothing available for 10 days. So I have to sit with a broken device or mail it in and have it away from me for a couple of days. I could just fix it. Although this thing is 21 years old, so it's already got a better track record than my iPhone. I think there's an era of technology that a lot of us either just didn't experience or don't remember, where it actually enhanced our lives instead of becoming them. Like the thought of going somewhere without my phone in the modern day is terrifying. Like, how will I listen to music? I don't know how to use maps. I don't have any paper maps. How will I get around? What if somebody needs me? What if something happens? You know, it's like Pandora's box. Now that we've opened it, we can't really close it. It's hard to do anything without the internet anymore. But at one point in time, instead of a necessity, it was just a tool. A luxury in some cases. Some of my old Macs don't have Wi-Fi cards in them because back then it was extra. You didn't need internet to use a computer. Nowadays, you can't even set up an iPhone without connecting to Wi-Fi. Like why? Windows 11 requires internet for you to set your computer up. Why? You probably haven't heard the term office hours in a bit unless you're a college student, but at one point in time, people could just go home and not be bothered. You left your office, you closed your stuff down, maybe you set up an automatic reply email, but you could just go home and be you. Now it feels like we always have to be on. Have to be on. I have to be checking for production jobs. I've got to, if my job calls me in on the weekend when I'm not there, I have to answer the phone or they'll get mad at me unreasonably. And you have to connect to the internet once every 30 days so Spotify can verify your offline downloads. And your phone does so many things now that it's buggy as fuck and it only lasts about a day on a charge. And you have to plug your watch in every night and update your watch and your headphones every 30 days. Why are we doing all this? I think we've taken it too far, man. Tech does too much. It does too much and we expect too much out of it. I've gotten flack for this, but I think tech should have stopped in about 2012 in like the mobile space. I think that where we were at with iOS 6 and Android, whatever the fuck, I think it was perfect. I think phones did just enough things without going too far. Now it feels like we're being harvested for information from all these companies that we're also paying money to. You're giving these companies money and they're making money off of you giving them money. Isn't that insane? How does that benefit you? It's parasitic. If support or software quality control were up to spec in the modern era, maybe I would feel different. Maybe I'd have a little more faith, but it's not. This is gonna hurt some of you guys. This is gonna really hurt. Apple does not care about you. If you lost everything, if you had some kind of account error that AppleCare couldn't figure out, chances are you would probably not hear back from them. My Google account is messed up and I'm not getting shit from them. What makes you think that you would? Sorry, we gotta rip that bandage off. Silicon Valley does not want to help you. They do not want to make your life better. They want to profit off of you because there are over 1 billion of you using the exact same device or the exact same service. You're a bubble in a boiling pot. And I'm sick of feeling like that every time I have an account problem or the YouTube app crashes or my phone won't turn on or just something stupid. I'm sick of it. It's hopeless. So I'm getting out. In the best way I can anyway. I'm listening to music off my iPod. I'm not getting on social media with my phone. I'm probably going to get a camera to take pictures with instead of my phone and just use the SD card reader like old times, plug it in and just...
Did you see it? On the left side of the door frame, barely visible on camera.
An orb. I got an alarm clock. Like an alarm clock, a little plastic like faux wood textured GE alarm clock from an estate sale. And I sleep with that next to my bed, and my phone is across the room. It stays far away from my bed. We're moving into a house this month, and no more Google stuff. All the Google speakers are getting donated or sold. They are going away. No more smart lights, no more smart speaker. Okay, I'm just gonna walk over and change the song. I'm just gonna walk over and turn the light on. Because it takes less time at this point than telling Google twice to turn the light on because Google misunderstood me from 4 feet away. Maybe this is my experience. Maybe I am alone in this. And I hope to God I am because I don't wish this kind of misery on anybody else except for my old boss, Patrick. Take a look at all the electronics and accounts and things in your life that need to be updated. And ask yourself if they're actually making your life better. Take a look at where you were 10 years ago, how you kept notes, how you turned the lights on, how you did things, right? And then look at yourself now. Does it take more steps? Do you have to fix it more? Is it worth the money you're spending on it? Seriously, give it a shot. Because yeah, I can't get rid of technology. I'm a YouTube video creator. I have to have a computer that's up to date so I can upload videos. I need a nice camera. I need a video editor. I have to be on social media every once in a while to post the shit. We can't escape it, but things can be whittled down. It can be reduced, and there's ways that it can make your life a little bit better if you just ask yourself, do I need this? Just the small ways I've taken a step back have already made me feel a lot better. So maybe it can help you, I don't know. All right, anyway, rant's over. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. It's probably gonna be a little long, judging by how long it's taken to shoot this. But if you've made it to this point, I appreciate you sticking around. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how your experience is. Maybe you have something to add. Maybe you have something to subtract. maybe multiply, but no division. My COVID's just basically cleared up. I'm kind of just riding out the rest of my quarantine to make sure I don't get other people sick. And once I'm out of here, we can finally start making some cool shit. So I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for that. I'd like to also thank the Peanut Gallery for supporting the channel. That's Maladroit, Jacob, LedsenKatt, 20 E's Productions, and Jimmy Mullen. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. If you'd like to support the channel and get some fun perks out of it, hit that join button down there. But otherwise, I am gonna go do the thing. I'm gonna touch some grass.